Let me see here. The Federalist Papers get into the fact that representation was supposed to advance with the population. At present, some states are little more than a society of husbandmen. Few of them have made much progression in those branches of industry which give variety and complexity to the affairs of a nation. These, however, will in all of them be the fruits of a more advanced population and will require on the part of each state a fuller representation. That's Federalist 56. So, not ambiguous. When the population grows, representation needs to grow. And again, the proclivity is the reps don't like to increase the number of reps because that's competition. That takes away from their power. Thomas Paine was more clear. He said, "Some convenient tree will afford them a state house under the branches of which the whole colony may assemble and deliberate on public matters. It is more probable that their first laws will be only regulations and be forced by no other penalty than public disesteem. It is their first parliament. In their first parliament, every man by natural right will have a seat." He says, however, but as the colony increases, the public concerns will increase likewise, and the distance at which the members may be separated will render it too inconvenient for all of them to meet on every occasion at first. When their member was small, their habitations near, the public concerns few and trifling. This will point out the convenience of their consenting to leave the legislative part to be managed by a select number of members chosen by the whole body, who are supposed to have the same concerns at stake as those who appointed them, and who will act in the same manner as the whole body will act as if they were present. If the colony continue increasing, it will become necessary to augment the number of representatives and that the interest of every part of the colony be attended to. So we have California, which has 40 million people, and we have 40 senators and 80 assembly members. Reading has 1 rep, maybe 2. San Diego has 5 reps, but no near adequate to represent all the population. Certainly not to meet with you, and certainly not to discuss problems, and certainly not to take care of you. Okay, I guess the current trend is to decrease representation. In, I think it was 1980, the current governor, Quinn, I think he was the Secretary of State at the time, and he actually passed an initiative to shrink the number of members in Illinois. About 15 years ago, Connecticut did something similar. And Vermont also made a decrease. They actually went from 260 reps in their lower chamber to 160. They still have excellent representation at 1 for every 4,000 people, which is about what our founders wanted, but they had much better. George Mason, he said he was convinced that once the House began meeting, it would resist efforts to add more members, which he believed was necessary for the body to represent a diverse interest of the people. And he gave Virginia's example. He said they had 10 members of the U.S. House. He said he wondered why those individuals would agree to increase the size of the House and decrease their power, because he said each would never lessen his own power and influence, for the greater the number of men among whom any given quantum of power is divided, the less power of each individual. And that's where we are today. Pennsylvania has 202 members in their lower house, and they're actually moving to try and decrease it to 160. And they will. And by doing that, they're going to damage the citizens. And they'll make it more open for their citizenry to be hurt by the other branches of government. It is a very dangerous trend, and that's what's going on.